station of Fox Sports.
We are Fox. We are Wisconsin.
Beautiful day for baseball in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Great to have you with us. It's the Cubs and the Brewers from Miller Park. The roof is wide open. The sun shining brightly. Feels like summer in the upper Midwest. Sean Halton, the new guy. He has arrived from AAA Nashville, and when he plays, he'll become the 7th player for the Brewers this year to make his major league debut. And hi, everybody. We welcome you from Miller Park alongside Bill Schroeder. I'm Brian Anderson. Brewers are trying to make it a 4-2 homestand and looking for back-to-back series wins. They'll need a victory here today to do that against the Cubs. And it is open auditions for Milwaukee, as we've seen so far this year, Rock. And one guy who is very interesting to pay attention to is Juan Francisco.
Yeah, the Brewers taking a flyer on Juan Francisco. He's only 25 years old, but the Brewers are already his third organization, still trying to figure it out at the big league level. But when he does, he has as much power as anybody in baseball. We saw it on Tuesday night. This guy doesn't even have to hit a ball squarely. He pops this one just about straight up in the air, and he's so strong. He's able to muscle this one, come straight down for a home run. You can see how long it took to get out of here. Not many guys can do that. And then last night, he's so strong. He centers on one about as well as you can. A lot of guys, that's going to be a line drive off the wall, but because of Francisco's strength, he's able to muscle out of the ballpark. This guy has all the tools in the world. Johnny Naron trying to figure it out for him. If he does the job, it could be a nice surprise for Milwaukee.
And at 25 years old, he's got a lot of upside. Willie Peralta, speaking of upside, coming off his best start of his career. He went 7 shutout against Atlanta. Can he back it up today? We'll check in with Craig and Davey with more on Peralta right after this.
Menards, save big money on all your home improvement needs at Menards. By Miller Lite, it's not just a good time, it's Miller time. And by Toyota, let's go places. 20th anniversary for the Racing Sausages. The famous Clements Racing Sausages got an early start already here today. The 3 original people who wore those costumes 20 years ago today got to throw out the first pitch, so not a bad opening ceremony, if you will. Davey and Craig back on board with you, and we're going to talk about today's starting pitchers. First, Willie Peralta, an up-and-down season, looked really sharp in his last start against the Braves, and has fared very well in 2 starts against the Cubs this year.
Yes, he's pitched very well against the Cubs, and 6 innings against the Cubs both times. And you know, the one thing, he was so focused there, and this is what he's got to do, because his last outing against Atlanta was outstanding, where he was focused, dialed in, was very, very good with his command. He's got a great sinker, and, you know, he just, as long as he doesn't get rattled and stay true to his form, he's going to be fine.
Willie Peralta looking for that consistency today. He is set to take the mound, and he'll oppose Matt Garza. And on the other side, Matt Garza has also enjoyed success against the Brewers, looking for his 4th win in just his 7th start. Began the year on the DL, coming on strong. He looked very sharp in his last outing as well. Getting close to the first pitch. Stay with us. Game series between the Cubs and the Milwaukee Brewers here today. A shuffled lineup. Willie Peralta on the hill. Brewers looking for a win to close out the homestand. Here's Brian Anderson and Bill Schroeder.
All right, Craig, thank you very much. Looking forward to day baseball here in Milwaukee. The roof is open, natural grass field, and baseball the way it ought to be played. Abundant sunshine today. It's 81 degrees. Ramos Ramirez collecting career hit number 2,000 last night. Been some milestones on this homestand with Ramirez and Francisco Rodriguez, who picked up his 300th save. And now Willie Peralta is trying to make it back-to-back wins on this homestand as the Brewers try to make it a 4-2 trip through Miller Park. Dale Swaim's Cubs coming in with a record of 32-44. Same record as the Milwaukee Brewers starting play today. Second year as the skipper of the Cubs. And Swaim puts this batting order out today. It's brought to you by Piggly Wiggly. Luis Valbuena leads off. He'll be followed by Starlin Castro, then Nate Schierholtz. Middle of the order is Ryan Sweeney, Anthony Rizzo, and Brian Bogasevic. Bottom 3, Deanna Navarro, Darwin Barney, and Matt Garza. Cubs winning last night 5-4. The Brewers won the opener 9-3. Peralta trying to make it a series win for Milwaukee.
Yeah, very good. His last time out against the Atlanta Braves, 7 innings, no runs. It took him only 99 pitches to get through 7. making his third start of the year against the Cubs. He's 1-0. He's pitched well, 4 earned runs in 13 and a third innings. As you check out the Menards, Brewers defense committed 2 costly errors in yesterday's ball game that did not help their cause. Martin Maldonado behind home plate, and Ricky Weeks, it looks like he's going to be getting a lot of playing time now that Scooter Gennett sent down to the minor leagues.
Ricky Weeks back in his everyday role at second base, and here is the transaction the Brewers made last night. Sean Halton promoted to the big leagues. His contract selected. 9 home runs down in AAA this year. So when he plays, it'll be a major league debut for Halton. Scooter Gennett option back to Nashville. The Brewers want to make sure that he continues to play every day. And while Ricky Weeks has found his stroke once again, it didn't look like that was going to be the case here in the big leagues. Wide-eyed and ready to go, Sean Halton. Speaking of big league debuts, Adam Hamari is back there behind the plate umpiring this game for the first time in the major leagues behind home plate. So we wish him the best, the 30-year-old Hamari. Eric Cooper, Jeff Kellogg, and Paul Schreiber are the base umpires. That's Jeff Kellogg there, the crew chief. So the stage is all set on a day when Bill Schroeder got his 15th anniversary pen as a full-time Brewers employee. Congratulations.
Yeah, 19 years in the booth, but 15 as a Brewers employee. That was an honor. That was nice. Alita Mercer came in and gave me the pen. And
had a wonderful ceremony here in the booth with a cake and everything.
That's right.
All right, Peralta ready to go. His first pitch to Luis Valbuena is in there for strike 1. What are you looking for Willie Peralta today to build on?
Just continue what he did last time. Very consistent with his delivery. His release point was spot on. Got on top of the fastball. Got a number of ground ball outs and was able to manage his pitch count very well against Atlanta. That's what he needs to do. That's his game. He doesn't need the big strikeouts. He's not going to be that kind of a guy, but get the ground ball outs.
Peralta quickly 0-2 on Valbuena. Has solidified that leadoff spot and the third base position for the Chicago Cubs. So much so that the Cubs released Ian Stewart prior to this series. A guy they had hoped would be their everyday third baseman. But it didn't turn out to be the case. And a base hit to right. Valbuena just keeps hitting. He has been a tough out for Brewer pitchers in this series. And the leadoff runner aboard.
There have been a number of 2-strike base hits for the Cubs the last couple of days. That was a 1-ball 2-strike pitch that Valbuena hit hard. There's that cut fastball from Willie. Ended up right down the middle.
So that's Valbuena's 4th hit of the series. He's now 4 for 9 at the plate. Getting on base like a good leadoff hitter should do. And that'll bring up Starlin Castro. Castro was given Tuesday off. Snapped his consecutive games played streak. He had the longest consecutive game streak going in the National League. Does have a couple of hits in this series. He's 2 out of 5. All of that came yesterday. Noticeably absent from the Cubs lineup is Alfonso Soriano once again. So back-to-back days on the bench. Manager's decision for Soriano. He's healthy, but the Cubs are very pleased with what Brian Bogusevic brings to the table. They brought him up. And Soriano will sit in the meantime.
Well, getting up there in age, and you give him some days off, maybe recharge the batteries a bit. Starlin Castro responded well in yesterday's game after a day off.
Now Castro has had a down season. This is a guy that 2 years ago led the National League in hits. He's hitting just .231 this year with 3 home runs and 24 driven in. Bouncing ball to Segura. Got a chance here to second for 1. The turn in time. Well, Segura quick as a cat. Getting a perfect feed to Ricky Weeks, and you know he has a strong enough arm to complete that double play.
Yeah, Ricky Weeks didn't have that ball in his glove very long, and it's surprising that Starlin Castro gets doubled up. He's pretty fast down the line, but that's how quick Segura and Weeks were on that double play. Quick as a cat, both of them, and that ball right on the money. You kind of trap the ball in the glove. You don't actually catch it there at second base, and Ricky turns it easily.
So 2 outs, and here is Nate Scherholtz. Scherholtz has been a nice find for the Cubs this year. He comes in batting .293, career high 11 home runs this season. Has a home run in this series. Two balls, no strikes on Scherholtz. Finding his way to the 3-hole in a batting order on a big league ball club. He made a good point about Segura, Rock, as he gets the ball in and out of his glove so fast he doesn't even squeeze the glove down. It's just literally like a stopping point.
Yep, catches it you know, in the palm of the glove, you know, kind of the area, the heel of the glove.
You know you got to go fast with this. This is a thing of beauty here. It never squeezes it down.
It takes practice. You know, just kind of trap it in the glove and on its way to second base.
A swing and a miss. 3 balls, 2 strikes on Scherholtz. Now, we talked about open auditions for the Brewers offensively, and we've seen a lot of guys get chances with the Brewers this year. Halton being the latest. Same goes for the pitching, and Peralta hoping to step up and have a great rest of the season. He's off to a good start today. Brewers are coming up against Matt Garza. First time, Ron Renneke hoping to see his club win back-to-back series on this homestand. And let's take a look at the Piggly Wiggly batting order, and Rock is shuffling the deck at the top of the order today, Renneke.
Yeah, Ricky Weeks, the second time he's been the leadoff hitter this year. Aoki moved down to the 2 spot. First time he's been there. And Gene Segura batting third. That's how well his season has gone. Second time he's been in that spot in the batting order. And Matt Garza making his 8th start of the year. He got off to a slow start. He was on a disabled list, a left lat strain that he had in spring training. And last 2 starts very good against the Mets and the Houston Astros. 1 run in his last 15 innings. A ground ball pitcher, and defense very important. The Menards Cubs defense ranked last in the National League in team defense, 58 errors. Deanna Navarro, day game after a night game, spelling Wellington Castillo today.
Brian Bogusevic making his 2nd consecutive start for the Cubs, called up from AAA. And a very strong throwing arm in left field, and that proved to be big yesterday. The Brewers were unable to score on a fly ball to left, and that was kind of a theme in yesterday's game. The Brewers getting runners at third base on 3 occasions with less than 2 outs, and could not bring any of the 3 in, and they lost by a run yesterday, 5-4. And a frustrating day at the ballpark for the Brewers offensively.
And one of those times was in the bottom of the 9th inning. You know, tying run at third base, less than 2, not able to get him in.
So Weeks back in the leadoff spot, a place he is very comfortable. Although, as Rock mentioned, just the second time hitting leadoff this year. He was the regular leadoff hitter for the Brewers for most of his career. That all changed last season. Taken out of that leadoff spot about halfway through, and really hasn't fought his way back there just yet. But I know Weeks, of all the positions in the batting order, he prefers to hit leadoff. He feels like he's a leadoff hitter. He grew up a fan of Ricky Henderson and wants to be that kind of power speed threat at the top of the lineup.
Well, middle of the order has been pretty good to him, you know, last month or so. And that's pretty much where Ron Renick is with his batting order, with all the injuries, and you know, Gomez still out, Ryan Braun on the disabled list. Kind of mix and match, trying to find a combination that might score some runs for you. That's just about the only thing a manager can do. Shake it up.
Now, Weeks has been on a tear as of late. He's hitting over 400 his last 10 games. You see what he's done in June, a .435 average with 5 home runs and 9 driven in. After a dismal start and a batting average that bottomed out around 160. In about a month's time, Weeks has been able to take it from a 167 average to 235 where he starts play today. 2 balls and a strike, and Weeks fouls it back.
Yeah, when you look at it philosophically, it's pretty easy to understand why he's been so good using the opposite field, but it's very difficult to incorporate when you spend 2 months, you know, pulling off the baseball. A lot of work with Johnny Nairn in the batting cage, trying to stay back and, you know, hit the ball where it's pitched, and it's working out well for him.
Garza deals a 2-2, and Weeks able to lay off. That pitch is a perfect example of where Ricky Weeks has come from and where he is right now. That was an out pitch just a couple of months ago, or at least a couple of weeks ago even. Worked the count full, the 3-2, and down he goes on strikes. So right back to it. Garza picks up a strikeout.
That fastball slider. He's going to throw a lot of fastballs. He'll cut it. There's that slider. You see the spin on it going down. Good pitch from Garza. You mentioned he's been pretty good his last 2 times out. He's given a 1 run in his last 2 starts combined.
Well, Garza pitches every time out for the Cubs with trade rumors swirling about him. He is one of the most sought after pieces. And the trade deadline is at the end of July, so there's still a little over a month to go in that category. But it feels like there's going to be some early deals made, and there are a ton of scouts from contending teams in the ballpark today to see Matt Garza pitch. Aoki into center field. Sweeney will make the play for out number 2. And for a lot of these scouts that are covering both of these teams, the Brewers unfortunately are in the same position. These scouts are camping on specific teams, not just seeing a guy one game here or there, but trying to figure out where the fit is for their ball club and what the needs are for their ball club. Every team wants to make trades to try to improve if you're a contending team. But what's interesting nowadays, Rock, the fact that there is a second wild card team in each league, and there are 5 playoff teams in each league. 5 of the 15 teams that start the season in each league make it to the playoffs. There are fewer teams that are willing to trade pieces away right now.
And a lot of teams think they're still in it. I think Garza would be a good match. You know, for a lot of them, a career earned run average for Matt Garza at 384. And remember, he's spent most of his career in the American League.
And had a lot of success in the postseason as well for the Tampa Bay Rays. And Segura takes strike 2. Garza threw a no-hitter back in 2010. First no-hitter ever thrown in Tampa Bay Rays history. and a postseason pedigree. He was the MVP of the ALCS in 08. Segura comes in hitting .333 today. Was 1 for 4 yesterday with a run scored. Had a stolen base. Yadier Molina is the league leader in batting average as we begin play today. Molina hitting .357. And then you got a couple of Colorado Rockies, Tulowitzki and Kadire, second and third in the league. And then Segura at .333.
All right-handed batters. Interesting.
Now you don't get to a lefty until Joey Votto, who's 6th in the league in hitting.
You got that big hole between first and second when there's a man on. Ordinarily lefties are going to be league leaders. Unusual to see that many right-handed batters.
Yeah, and if you look at the top 10, there are no lefties in the top 5. But if you look at the top 10, only Votto.
Yeah.
The only left-handed batter in the top 10 in the league in hitting. 2-2 to Segura. He fouls it off. Able to stay alive on a tough pitch off the plate.
And not much mystery to what Matt Garza is going to try and do. He'll sink his fastball. He'll get it up to about 94 miles an hour. The slider is a good pitch. He'll flip up a curveball once in a while, but really doesn't have a changeup to speak of.
And a fastball right by Segura. Challenged him with the heat. Segura strikes out. 1-2-3 inning for Garza.
Cubs today marks one of the most memorable days in Brewers franchise history. It's because the famous racing sausages came to life this morning, 6 a.m. to be exact, at North Point Custard. The first 250 fans received a free sausage breakfast sandwich, of course, a coffee, and best of all, an exclusive 20th anniversary Clements Famous Racing Sausages commemorative t-shirt. And as I said, 20 years ago today, the Famous Racing Sausages came to life, transforming from animations on the Milwaukee County Stadium scoreboard to live racers. There were only 3 original racing sausages: the bratwurst, the Italian, and the Polish. Still hard to believe the hot dog wasn't a part of that, BA and Rock, but nonetheless, the 3 original ones were racing back at County Stadium. And of course, today, to honor the 20th anniversary, the 3 original sausages will race today, with the hot dog and the chorizo holding the finish line. So looking forward to that in the 6th inning.
Very nice. Good to see they have reinforced the the head of the Polish.
And there was a face sticking out of the neck back in the old days. That'd scare some kids, wouldn't it?
20 years ago.
Yeah, but yeah, the Clements famous racing sausages. Except no imitation.
Been 15 imitations.
We're going to see one of the
baseball.
best, though, in D.C. coming up.
I like how they put a fake home plate down there, you know, an alternate home plate, and that's what they would race to, as opposed to going all the way around. It's evolved. Everybody evolves. And the racing sausage is no different, as Rizzo takes a ball. Got a runner at first on a leadoff single by Sweeney. Peralta gave up a leadoff single in the first inning. Immediately got a ground ball double play from Castro, and looking to do the same here with Rizzo. A dangerous bat. Had a double yesterday. Rizzo also had the key hit in the game yesterday. Came on an 0-2 pitch. He drove in 2 runs with a single. Looked like Gallardo was going to be able to get through the 4th. Had Rizzo down in the count, but he came up with a big hit for Chicago. Cubs would hang on to win 5-4. Out hit the Brewers 11-9 yesterday.
It wasn't the best of defensive games for either team last night, although the Cubs did not commit an error.
It's 2 balls and a strike on Rizzo, and he takes low and away. Ball 3. Now Rizzo, one of the pillars of the organization moving forward. He and Starlin Castro both signing long-term contracts with the Cubs. Rizzo's, if you play out all the option years, he's got a contract that could take him into 2021. Runner goes. It's a strike. Throw to second is dropped by Segura. Oh, a perfect throw from Maldonado. And Segura, just a rare mistake.
It might be an error. I don't know how they're going to score it, but certainly if he keeps that ball in his glove, that's an out easily. Boy, what a throw by Martin Maldonado on a 3-1 pitch. And Segura just forgot about catching the baseball.
Yeah, had him dead to rights, but that's going to be a stolen base.
Yeah, stolen base. Now, if you catch it and you get an out call and then you drop it, it's an error. That could have gone either way.
Yeah, Rizzo strikes out. Maldonado blocks, puts the tag on him to secure it. And there is out number 1. First strikeout for Willie Peralta in a spot where he needed one.
That breaking pitch, that cut fastball, slider, whatever you want to call it, and a nice block by Maldonado.
Our Carsoup.com email the booth question, BA and Rock, if you could run in the sausage race, which racing sausage would you be? I'll defer to you.
I have really not thought about it, actually. No, since my name is Schroeder and German heritage, although my mother was Polish.
I see. They got 2 options.
That creates a problem for me. I'll go bratwurst.
Okay. He's number 1 anyway.
How about you?
The bratwurst. I'm going to go chorizo.
There's a lot. That's a heavy costume now.
Right.
You think you can handle that?
Yeah. I've been working out and very top heavy, that costume. Runners on the move. Maldonado fires to third and safe. Sweeney advances on the wild pitch. Maldonado did all he could. It's good base running by Ryan Sweeney.
And just couldn't keep it close enough. Sweeney on his horse right away, and then the sweep tag a little bit too late by Ramirez. It's good to see Ramirez back in the lineup today. Usually gets a day game after a night game off.
Now certainly Ramirez knows that his bat is needed in the lineup. Infield in for the Brewers with 1 out, and Bogusevic fouls it away. Former first rounder by the Astros, Bogusevic, drafted as a pitcher out of Tulane. Hard throwing left-hander, and then switched to the field as he dumps one into left field for a base hit. And on his way to second base with an RBI double. And the Cubs have the lead. A couple of miscues for the Brewers defensively. The dropped ball by Segura and the wild pitch by Peralta leads to that run.
And we talked about the defense for the Brewers. Costing them 2 unearned runs in yesterday's ball game. And 2 errors in the same inning. And they played it should have been made on a stolen base that wasn't. With the infield drawn in, Ramirez just can't get a glove up in time.
And Sweeney's heads up base running pays off. So it's 1-0 Chicago. And here's Diana Navarro. Cubs lead the National League as a team in doubles this year, and Bogusevic joining the act. You realize the Cubs have 9 players with at least 10 doubles this season. And they're hitting some home runs this year too. They're in the top 5 in the league in that category. Navarro gets a call today behind the plate, catching Garza. Spelling Castillo with a day game after a night game. Look out. Wow. Fouled that one right in front of Darwin Barney on deck.
Well, no chance to get out of the way either. We talked about all the doubles. They've been hitting some home runs. They're still 9th in the league in runs scored. The Brewers are 8th coming into play tonight or today. Runners in scoring position has been an issue for both teams.
Ball and 2 strikes on Navarro. Navarro and Garza were teammates with the Rays, part of that World Series ball club in 08. Lost to the Phillies in the World Series. He's had an interesting career, Navarro. He ended up with the Reds last season as a backup, made it onto their postseason roster, as a matter of fact.
He's got some pop in at bat. 6 home runs and 85 at bats.
Hits that one on the ground to Weeks, who backhands it, makes the play for out number 2. Bogusevic advances to third. 2 men are gone for Darwin Barney.
And be careful here. Barney, a good contact hitter. You've got the pitcher on deck. You don't want to mess around too much here.
Barney hitting .232. Does have 4 home runs, 16 driven in. Barney had a hit yesterday, was 1 for 4 with an RBI. 2 outs, runner at third. It's always that question, do you get greedy, try to get the out, have the pitcher leading off the next inning, which certainly helps you next inning, but you run the risk of giving up a hit to an 8th place hitter when you know you've got an out more than likely waiting on deck.
And you got a guy at the plate that very rarely strikes out. I mean, makes good contact. He's just looking to punch the ball somewhere. And usually that's the right field in situations like this.
Barney was able to split the gap. He had a double yesterday. They play Barney toward the line and right. And a little cue shot off the glove of Peralta. Weeks coming in, can't get there, and that's going to be an infield hit and an RBI. Well, there was a couple of ways at an out right there. Peralta couldn't make the play. The Cubs have a 2-0 lead. And Barney extends his hitting streak to 7 in a row.
Well, not much you can do about that. I mean, that was a good pitch by Peralta. Had him chase a pitch in off the plate, just ate him up inside, but just couldn't get the glove up in time to snare the line drive. Wasn't hit all that hard. I think that's what fooled Willie. And by that time, too late for Weeks.
Yeah, we'll see how Peralta deals with the adversity of that. That has to be maddening to have a soft line drive right there for you. Even if it gets past Peralta, if he totally whiffs on it, that's an easy out for Ricky Weeks to make. Now facing Garza.
But usually Peralta, a pretty good fielding pitcher. He's going to make that play 9 times out of 10.
It's almost like a changeup off the bat.
Right.
You know, the swing fooled him a little bit. Didn't have much on it. A bouncer over the head of Francisco, and Weeks knocks it down, but that's going to work as an infield hit.
And how about this inning for the Cubs? The Bogusevic double down the line was a fist job over the head of Ramirez, who was playing in. The base hit by Barney knocked Garza, beats one to the ground. Francisco playing even with the bag, holding the runner, and that one hops right over his head.
Well, now you really got to bear down if you're Peralta. This is how a big inning can erupt. 2 are already in. Top of the order, Valbuena, a hot hitter with 2 runners on. Valbuena single to right his first time up on a 2-strike pitch. Right off the end of the bat, Peralta with 2 hands secures it. Makes the play to win the inning. Cubs get 2. Whittle their way to 2 runs. Brewers coming up.
Hey, come out to Miller Park as your Brewers host the New York Mets Friday, July 5th through Sunday, July 7th. Call 414-902-4000 or visit Brewers.com for tickets.
Next homestand, Brewers are headed on the road tonight. They will start a series beginning tomorrow in Pittsburgh. 3-game series with the Pirates, and then a 4-game series in Washington, D.C. against the Nationals. And then back home for Friday's matchup against the Mets. Matt Garza with his base hit in the 2nd inning, running the bases as well, taking a little extra time here before his first pitch of the bottom of the 2nd. Let's compare velocity with these 2 guys. Both can bring it. Charter Cable high-speed pitch. Garza in his first inning topping out at 94. Peralta's already hit 97. Looks like Garza's dealing with something on the mound. He's motioning as if he's got some tightness somewhere. Remember, he spent a good part of spring training and the first part of the season on the disabled list with a lat injury. Interesting, that was on his left side, which is his pull side down for the right-handed pitcher.
And he didn't make his first start in the big leagues until May 21st.
He looks uncomfortable on the mound right now. Just watching him warm up, and he took a lot of time between innings, so we'll keep an eye on that, see if there's anything to it. Aramis Ramirez leads off. Aramis with 2 hits yesterday. hit his 5th home run of the season, a milestone hit for Ramirez. His 2000th career hit came on that home run off Feldman. That's a way to do it in style. This is a game we are infatuated with round numbers in this game, and when you get to a hit number of 2,000 through a career, that is an impressive number to get to for an offensive player.
He keeps himself in shape and has been able to stay relatively healthy, although he's been hobbled by that bad knee this year. Got to have him in the lineup, with everybody else that's out.
And Ramirez draws the walk. Well, that's the idea against Garza. Get his pitch count up, make him work, and most importantly, put him in the stretch.
He's not a very good fielding pitcher. That's one thing the Brewers need to keep in mind, or we need to keep in mind in watching the game today. He's got a very inaccurate throwing arm to the bases. And maybe bunt on him, make him get off the mound and field his position. Rattle him a little bit.
And as far as throwing the baseball to bases, especially first base, players would tell you that Matt Garza has the thing. Yeah, I'll never forget that game he had against the Brewers last year. He was an out away from a complete game and got a ball back to the mound. Looked like he was going to finish it off. He threw it. Not only did he miss the first baseman, he threw it about 5 rows into the stands.
Yes, he did.
And he had to come out. Cost him a complete game that day.
Drop down a couple of bunts, get him off the mound, see what happens.
Juan Francisco will not be bunting, but maybe down further in the order, right?
Maybe Logan Schaefer, right? Yeah, try it. Guys at the top of the order.
We talked about Francisco in our open today. He has home runs in each of his last 2 games. And 2 home runs about on opposite ends of the spectrum. And gives you an idea of what Juan Francisco is capable of. The ball he hit on Tuesday, he hit it a mile high. Didn't even really hit it solid. Certainly didn't square it up, but still had enough on it to go out. It was a home run that had a hang time over 7 seconds. And he chased one this time. Down he goes on strikes. 3rd strikeout for Garza already.
And that's the thing about Francisco. I mean, he's so strong, he doesn't need to start that bat, real soon, because he's got a quick bat. A cut fastball up out of the strike zone, and he goes after it.
Well, here's Logan Schaefer now. He's one of the best bunters on the team, and see if Schaefer is going to be dropping a few down today. Comfortable doing that. Gets a lot of base hits on bunt base hits. Almost had one yesterday.
Valbuena thinking about a bunt. He's in on the grass at 3rd base.
That's the other thing about being a guy who has the threat of being a good bunter. You can always slap a few singles through there on the drawn in infield. Quickly 0-2 on Schaefer.
And that's what Aoki does all the time. He brings that infield in thinking that the 3rd baseman in, and then he slaps it right by him. When you're in like that, you don't have much range. Aoki takes advantage of that all the time.
No balls, 2 strikes. Schaefer lays off. Two and 2 now. Schaefer hitting .217. Still looking for his first major league home run. Does have 9 runs batted in this year. Been a rough homestand for him at the plate, and playing just about every day now in the absence of Braun and Gomez. And down he goes on strikes. Back-to-back Ks for Garza, and he has struck out 4 of the first 6 batters he's faced.
That's a good slider. We got Segura on his slider. Ricky Weeks went down swinging on his slider. Actually, Segura missed a fastball, and here's that pitch right there. Not much right to left movement on it, but it goes down pretty well.
So Maldonado now at 2 away. Ramirez still at first, the leadoff walk, and Maldonado tries to drop a bunt down. He heard your scouting report, Rock.
Well, that's the last guy I would expect to bunt. But with Valbuena playing very far behind third base, why not try to get on base? Maybe Gindel can drive a gap, the on-deck hitter.
Popped him up, shallow right. Barney's got a long way to go. The glass is down, and he'll give way to Scherholtz. Much easier catch. Now today we're celebrating the 20th anniversary of the famous racing sausages. You get it from their perspective as we head to break. The first inning, Starlin Castro grounding it out to Segura, who starts a 6-4-3 double play. Jimmy John's freaky fast. That's how they turn 2 outs quickly. Brewers have had their troubles though in the second inning. Segura dropped the baseball, ended up as a stolen base, and a couple of infield hits for the Cubs. Cubs chipped away for 2 runs. They weren't hit all that well, but they count just the same. Bogasevic got jammed, but able to muscle one for a double. Barney on a play that could have ended the inning. Little jam shot, and then this one from Garza, a bouncer over the head of Francisco, and that's the way it goes sometimes.
Yeah, 2 of the hits the result of playing in, first base and third base.
Yeah, so Peralta trailing 2-0. Couple of earned runs in that second inning, but certainly an inning he's probably thinking shouldn't have been. And we'll see how he comes along here. That's been the key with Peralta, handling adversity and learning at the major league level. He's only 23 years of age, but a guy who has a lot of potential, but still a lot to learn, and he's doing it on a big league stage.
And really the infield hits, even the hit to Bogasevic was a good pitch. I mean, so good pitches sometimes end up being hit and costing you runs. Sometimes you just have to tip your hat.
3 balls and a strike, and that one's on the corner. Castro in a full count now. And Castro fouls it back. Count remains at 3-2. Long at bat here for the Cubs shortstop. Bounced into that double play in the first. And a 3-2, and that one's lined back up the middle, base hit. Well, he's having a down season, but Castro is still a major threat at the plate. This guy can hit, there's no question.
And that was a 96-mile-an-hour fastball that, Castro able to pull the hands in. Look at the extension he gets on that swing, and nice easy follow through. I mean, he keeps the bat in the hitting zone a long time, and that's why he's a very dangerous hitter.
3 straight innings with a leadoff single against Peralta. Cubs put a lot of traffic on the bases yesterday, and they're doing the same today. Already 6 hits. First 10 batters in the lineup. Snap throw to first. Castro back.
Got to be alive with Maldonado behind home plate if you're at first base. Francisco's got to be ready for a pickoff throw. Same thing at second base. Same thing at third. Ideal situation with left-handed hitter up. Runners sometimes can't see the catcher getting in position to make a pickoff throw.
Nate Scherholtz spending last year with 2 clubs, the Giants and the Phillies. He was part of the Hunter Pence trade in Philadelphia, but part of that Giants ball club. World Series champion Giants team. Always thought of as a 4th outfielder in San Francisco, and Scherholtz saw an opportunity in Chicago, and club that's rebuilding a little bit, had some vacancies in the outfield. He saw an opportunity maybe to play more, and he's taken advantage of it. He's not just playing more, he's an everyday guy who is batting third. Runner takes off. Maldonado's throw is late, a little bit up the line, and Castro got a big jump anyway, and he steals second.
Yeah, good throw's going to get him. That wasn't a very good throw by Martin. Tried to be a little bit too quick, maybe because of the jump. And watch the arm drop right there, and the ball sails on him. We don't see that from Maldonado too often. Not a very big lead, decent jump, and a good throw is going to get him at second base.
Cubs with their second stolen base. So a runner in scoring position with 2 away, or with nobody out, I should say. 2-2 on the count to Scherholtz. Cubs with 2 in the second inning. Threatening for more here in the third. And a swing and a miss. Peralta strikes out Scherholtz. Big out for him. His second strikeout as we send it down to Telly.
Thanks, Brian. This July, baseball's greatest stars gather for the biggest event of the summer. The Midsummer Classic returns to New York with home field advantage for the World Series on the line. It's the 2013 Major League Baseball All-Star Game live from New York, July 16th, only on Fox. BA.
All right, Telly, thanks. Don't forget, you can go to Brewers.com. Vote for your favorite Brewers. Guys like Segura and Carlos Gomez certainly need your help right now. we always like to say, if you're listening to this broadcast and you go vote the maximum 35 times per email account, then it'll all but guarantee that they make their way to the All-Star game. You could have a couple of starters if you do that. Certainly Segura feeling like a starting shortstop at the All-Star game. Right now, Troy Tulowitzki is the leader at the shortstop position. Our Feltco All-Star voting update. Brandon Crawford is second. And of course, Bruce Bochy is going to be the manager of the National League team. Crawford skipper in San Francisco. So as I see it, the only way Segura is going to start is probably if he's voted in as the top vote getter. But he certainly is deserving of a trip there, and I think he will find his way to Citi Field if he continues.
Fans do a pretty good job in voting. I mean, most of the guys that get the start certainly deserving and probably the best choice.
Into left field, slicing. Gendel can't make the play. Right off the edge of his glove. This is going to bring in another run. And it's 3-0 Cubs. And more defensive troubles for Caleb Gendel and the Brewers.
Yeah, he had a rough day yesterday. Had a rough inning where he made a couple of mistakes. One called in there, one was not. But that's certainly a ball that's got to be caught. He was there right off the end of the glove. And because of that, a run is going to come in. Starlin Castro at second base, able to score easily, and Ryan Sweeney, I think they're going to give him a double. Nope, they're going to give him an error.
Yeah, E7. But another run is in, so it's 3-0. Well, just a terrible start to the game today for Milwaukee. This is can't allow teams to get extra outs.
And he was shaded to the line too, and slicing away from him, but it looked as though he was there. Actually appeared that he slowed up just a little bit, but off the end of the glove. Just misjudged where it was.
So one out with Rizzo at the plate and a runner at second.
Kind of surprising to see Gendel struggle like he has out in the outfield, because we saw him in spring training. We've seen him for a couple of years. Outstanding out there defensively.
He is.
And he tracks the ball well. He's got good hands, a very accurate throwing arm. But he has scuffled so far, last couple of days particularly.
Something about that third deck, right? It's a totally different perspective.
Changes things a lot for a lot of players.
There have been some very costly mistakes by the Brewers defensively, and the Cubs are taking full advantage. 4 decks. And usually you get 1 deck in the minor league. Some ballparks have the second deck, the smaller second deck. The old saying is it's the third deck. The old cliche.
Yeah, that's
if you want to get technical about it. It's actually
they'll say it in spring training. A guy has a good spring, and they'll say, let's see what he does with the third deck.
right.
We're talking about big league stadiums, and there's something to that.
Technically, it's the second, third, and fourth deck.
Yeah, we get the picture.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Rizzo.
They have 4 decks and a roof.
I mean, there are things that have been stated in baseball for years, cliches, and then we say them, and people at home go, well, "What's he talking about?" There are 4 decks in the stadium. Now we get that.
So the reason why we're going on and on and on about it, right?
That's right.
Yeah, there's a reason for it. Method to the madness.
It's a change of perspective.
Right.
Rizzo hits that one high and deep to center field. Right there is Schaefer to make the play, and a good call by Sweeney. He tagged, was going to challenge the arm of Schaefer, but yesterday Schaefer showed his worth. He gunned down a runner at the plate, and Sweeney holds his ground.
They've got Rizzo. That was a big play at that point in the ball game.
Schaefer has a very strong, accurate arm.
You see the way his momentum, he builds his momentum toward the infield as he catches the baseball.
Two outs now, and Bogusevic at the plate. Bogusevic had a double and an RBI in the second. A little jam shot that he muscled over the head of Ramirez at third base. Bogusevic, you got to give him credit. He's been in the big leagues. It's been a good part of the season with the Astros last year in the major leagues, but did not have a major league offer this season. Took a minor league deal with the Cubs with the hopes that he could play his way to Chicago, and has done so. Ramirez knocks it down. Nice play. Throw to first is dropped by Francisco. Man, oh man. This is as bad as it gets right here. Brewers cannot get out of their own way defensively right now.
That's a good play by Ramirez. That ball hit like a bullet right at him, knocked it down, and made a good throw to first. Not sure why the ball wasn't caught at first base. Knocks it down, good throw. Didn't bounce, but Francisco just dropped it. And the inning continues. Very tough play right at the third baseman. And that was the easy part of the play that Francisco could not handle. Right off the end of the glove.
That's an E3. Bogusevic reaches. That is the second error of the inning. Brewers could easily have 3 errors today. And Peralta still grinding away on a hot afternoon. Pitches that he should not have to make. Brewers are just going to have to step it up defensively. He's got to concentrate, got to dial it in. And that ball's hit well, right field corner, and there she goes. 3-run home run for Deanna Navarro. 6-0, just like that. That's a killer.
Yep. Yeah, you just can't continue to kick the baseball around and expect to win games. The Brewers lost yesterday, did not play very well defensively, and that has continued today. And Willie Peralta deserves a better fate in this inning. All the runs unearned in this inning. And Deanna Navarro has come up with some big home runs against Milwaukee in his career.
I had a walk-off against the Brewers last year as a member of the Reds, as a matter of fact. Still 2 outs, 6-0 Cubs. This is a game that should not have been at this point. Got a long way to go here as well. Darwin Barney's the 7th batter to hit this inning. Three balls and a strike. Well, Peralta now 67 pitches, 66 pitches Working here in the third inning.
And Brewers can't afford another really short start. They had one last night. Gallardo only able to go 4.
And you got a guy making his major league debut tomorrow, Johnny Helwig. You don't know how that's going to go. There's a lot of unknowns with that. You got Donovan Hand starting Saturday, just his second career major league start. So putting themselves in a very tough spot here. Barney into right field. Aoki going back, and that's the inning. Brewers are kicking it big time today, and the Cubs taking advantage. 6-0 as we head to the bottom of the third.
Today on our AT&T Twitter poll, we are asking Brewers fans on at FS Wisconsin, which is your favorite famous racing sausage? The brat, the Polish, Italian, hot dog, chorizo? So let's take a look back at some of the fun memories that these sausages have had. Now, the Brewers are scuffling a little bit on the field today, and well, the sausages are not exempt from that. They've taken a few spills over their 20 years of running, and that's okay. We'll forgive that. But, you know, no sausages were hurt in the making of this video, guys. So weigh in on which is your favorite sausage.
The tumbles. I love it. Oh, that's great.
That happens to me from time to time. A little top heavy.
Yes, after a late night on Lake Muskego. Yep. They're famous for a reason, not just because we call them famous. Tell you what, in a game like this, I love the sausages even more.
Yes.
They make you smile.
Yep, they do.
And who didn't need to see Polish go down nose first? Right
and they
there.
taste awfully good. The Clements sausages.
Celebrating the 20th anniversary of the sausage races. That's why we've talked a lot about the sausages on this homestand. It's the anniversary week. It doesn't just boil down to one day today, but the whole week we've been having some fun with it. We had Dan Patrick and his crew running the sausage race earlier on the homestand. They got to experience it firsthand.
Sausage race is a fixture on every one of our broadcasts. I mean, we've been showing it just about every night, haven't we? It's fun.
Caleb Gendel leads off. Brewers find themselves in a 6-0 hole today, and needing to hit the reset button on this one. Matt Garza has struck out 4 first 7 batters he's faced. One and 2 the count. Trying to think about how many other teams have races, copies of the sausage race. I think there are 15 others around the major leagues. I think that's right. 15 is that's our unofficial count. As Gendel strikes out, that's number 5 for Matt Garza.
Are you doing that just off the top of your head?
I'm just kind of going through the league, you know.
One of the better imitations is in D.C. We're going to see the presidents.
Yeah, the president's races. I like that.
Yeah,
but it's all fixed, though. That's the only problem.
Teddy actually won a game, won a race.
Yeah, last year.
Yeah. And then you have the pierogies in Pittsburgh.
It's not bad.
Which is a pretty good compliment to the Clemens sausage.
What was that monstrosity in Miami? With the
sea creatures?
Sea creatures.
Yeah.
Maybe the worst ever is the condiments race. And in Houston, they had like the hot sauce packets and the packets. They were just packets.
They did away with that, didn't they?
Mild, spicy. Yeah, I think it's over. Thank goodness. That was bad. That's where we are at this point in the third inning of a 6-0 game, and
running through the different races around baseball.
Hopefully things can change. A lot of baseball to be played yet. Peralta strikes out. Garza has 6. First time through the batting order. As we check in with our favorite racer, Telly Hughes.
BA, we want to remind fans they can enroll in a world-class experience this summer as Quick Trip presents the inaugural year of the Brewers Baseball Academy. These instructional kid camps are coming to a city near you. Visit brewers.com/camps today. And speaking of camps, I know Rock always wants to make sure that fans are updated on what's going on with Brewers Fantasy Camp.
Yeah, you're about eligible, Telly. You're ready to participate in the Brewers Fantasy Camp. Got to be 30 years of age. And it's
I don't think I can make it.
It's at the Maryville Baseball Park, the Brewers spring training facility, February 2nd through the 9th.
Yep, registrations are going well.
Telly, I think, would be a big hit at Fantasy Camp. He played college baseball.
He's a good athlete. I've seen him, actually. I've seen him in the that race that they have around here at the ballpark.
Yeah, the 5K.
The 5K, yeah.
Right. He might be, I don't know about the double headers every day, though. Might be good for just one.
You can DH. We have the DH. You run 9 players out there, but you hit throughout the batting order in fantasy camp. So just because you're not playing defensively.
Yeah, you might go 3 or 4 innings without hitting. Weeks is hit by a pitch. Well, there's a base runner. Brewers have a walk and now a hit batter today for their 2 base runners. That's a 2-out hit by pitch for Garza.
Yeah, walking a hit batter is the only offense the Brewers have been able to muster so far. First time through has been pretty good for Garza, who has had good success against Milwaukee. 3-1 career in 6 starts. And before today, a .290 earned run average. He was 1-0 last year.
Here's Aoki. Now, speaking of Arizona, I'm thinking about fantasy camp. The Diamondbacks have an imitation sausage race with the what do they call it? The Legends races.
Right. Randy Johnson and
Kurt Schilling,
Mitch Williams, or Matt Williams,
Mark Grace. Brewers will be headed to Arizona right before the All-Star break. 4-game series with the first place Diamondbacks.
Luis Gonzalez is in that as well.
Oh yeah, that's the other one. Had one of the biggest hits, or the biggest hit in franchise history. Won him a World Series. Aoki bounces one to third. Valbuena makes a nice play to win the inning. Garza's rolling. 3 shutout innings, has not allowed a hit. Brewers down 6-0. Anthony Rizzo, a swing and a miss. Peralta today, well, the line is messy, but the Brewers have just not played well behind him defensively. He does have a couple of strikeouts, and he is out there to try to give some very important innings to Ron Renneke, Rick Kranitz, as we start to look forward to the next road trip. Still a lot of baseball to be played. The day feels like a day for the offense. Ball's flying at this point. And we have a visitor.
Got the Broad
in the booth. The Broad is here. Well, you said you always wanted to be the Broad, and he's here in the flesh.
Nice.
It's not easy to get to the booth. How you doing, Broad?
Especially with that head.
Good to see you. You're a lot bigger than I thought you were. Put on a few pounds, I think. You're having a good year, though, Broad. It's the hot dog that's having a rough year, and things are not going good for the hot dog right now. Although he's won a couple of races lately. As Matt Garza serves one to right field. His second hit of the ball game.
So happy anniversary, by the way. 20 years. You haven't aged a bit.
How come you're looking at Brod's chest when you talk to the Brod? You really ought to be looking more up here, looking in the eye.
I can't reach up there. It hurts my neck.
Because he's staring right at his chest, and it makes him a little uncomfortable. You got to look up there.
Yeah, okay. You got any other suggestions? Nice job. I'll see you on the grill tonight.
20th anniversary of the famous racing sausages, and Brat was one of the original. Matter of fact, he's #1. Brat, Polish, and Italian were the originals.
You think I can fit in that costume, Brat? No. Head's too big. Okay.
Again, eye contact.
So I stand up. So I can always count on your part to make me look good up here.
The wandering eyes. You just never know.
Do you think I could fit in that costume?
Now he's ignoring you. You've insulted him.
Goodness gracious.
Top of the order, Valbuena. Peralta missing down and away. 3 balls, no strikes. Six nothing Cubs. Scored 2 in the second, 4 in the third inning. Brewers committing a couple of errors. There's strike 1. Now you start to map this out if you're Ron Renneke and trying to at least get Peralta through 5 innings. Pitch count at 74 right now. And there's ball 4. So 2 on to start the 4th. Milwaukee Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Piggly Wiggly, the official supermarket of Fox Sports Wisconsin. By Ho Chunk Gaming Wisconsin, your ticket to more. And by Marshfield Clinic. Don't just live, shine. So 2 on to start the 4th, and here is Starlin Castro. The Brat does leave an interesting aroma when he leaves the booth. That's the first time we've ever had a racing sausage in the booth, at least in my time.
Right. I did participate in a sausage race.
Oh, is that right?
Way back when. It was probably about 8-9 years ago.
Which one did you wear?
It was the Brat.
Oh, okay. I got it. That's why you have a little affection for the Brat.
I think I was about 3rd.
I thought you two made a nice connection there. As a bouncer, Francisco makes the play, shovels to Peralta. Nicely done. Out number 1. Both runners will advance, but the first out of the 4th inning. Now, what year was that?
I don't remember. It was a broadcast in which, all of us, doing the games, kind of took jobs of, I was a cameraman for an inning, and then I went up on the track beam up there and kind of did a hit or two, and You know, the guys kind of moving around, doing different things. And I agreed to participate in the sausage race. Not as easy as it looks.
You went up on the tracks like this guy?
Yeah, track beam. Yep.
That is.
I'm not big on heights.
Scary.
I'm not big on heights, but that didn't bother me too much. That didn't bother me too much, but there's a little catwalk off to the side up along the track beam there down the right field line.
Yeah. Fly ball to right. Aoki just in front of the wall will make the catch, and this is going to bring in another run. The Cubs have a 7-0 lead as Scherholtz on a sacrifice fly and an RBI, and his 33rd run batted into the season.
Yeah, there's a little a metal staircase and a platform up there, and I had to do there it is right there. Did a hit from up in that direction up there somewhere. And
see, that feels all right to me there, but when you start going across the top of the stadium, I don't know. That's when I get a little anxious.
You're going up there and you'll see what I mean.
Feel safe?
Yeah, it's not too bad.
He is in charge of making sure the tracks are functional. The famous roof. As famous as the sausages are, the roof is just as famous. Love that roof. One of a kind. Off the end of the bat, fly ball to Aoki. Sweeney is retired, and Peralta gets to the fourth, but the Cubs had another run. 7-0 Chicago. We go to the bottom of the fourth. Of the whiff for every strikeout across MLB during the 2013 regular season. A $1 donation will be made to the MLB Reviving Baseball in Inner Cities national program. It's called the RBI. MLB fans in local RBI leagues can also take part in the season of the whiff on Twitter all season long to help earn money for their local RBI program. And here's how it works. When a pitcher from the Brewers strikes out an opposing batter, fans should tweet the hashtag whiff to @Brewers in order for the tweet to count. And then each month, the MLB club who racks up the most whiff tweets will earn a $10,000 donation for their local RBI league. A total of $80,000 in donations up for grabs. Teams can win more than one, so we encourage you to be a part of that program. Brewers have a great RBI league here in Milwaukee. Matt Garza taking his time getting ready, and it's 7-0, so we check in with Telly Hughes.
Well, B.A., you just mentioned the RBI program. I actually participated in the RBI program in its first year, and it was a really cool program because they actually had a World Series, and it was in St. Louis. They actually had it at Busch Stadium, and teams from all around the country came, and actually one team from Puerto Rico was there. So it's a really cool program, and I'm proud to say I was a part of it.
All right, an RBI alumnus. What year was that, Telly?
Oh, boy. Let's just call it early 90s.
All right. Oh, good for you. That's a good story. I didn't know that about you. That's a great program, and it is named trying to accomplish just that, revive baseball in the inner cities. The game of baseball grew out of the inner cities, and it's important to continue that trend. As the city grows up, it's hard to find space. There's always a park, there's always a backstop, and Major League Baseball makes sure that those facilities still exist.
You just don't see a whole lot of pickup games these days. I mean, everything's organized, and which is good, but the RBI program provides an opportunity for kids to go out and play some ball and provide some equipment, get them off the streets, right?
It's a great game. And Segura strikes out. Garza is racking them up here today. That's 7 Ks now for Matt Garza.
And Segura strikes out for the second time. You don't see him do that very often. Back-to-back strikeouts for Gene Segura. First on a fastball, his first time up. That time a slider.
Well, the Brewers still without a hit thus far. 3 1/3 for Garza as Ramirez able to check his swing. Ramos, one of just 2 base runners today for Milwaukee. He walked in the second. Ricky Weeks was hit by a pitch in the third. That's been it against Garza.
And the Brewers have been swinging and missing on fastballs that seem to be right down the middle, including that last pitch to Ramirez. Laid up the slider, got a fastball down the middle, and came up empty. Two seamers and 4 seamers for Garza to go along with that slider.
Ramirez into center field, and that's going to fall. A base hit. Bounces away from Sweeney. Ramirez will settle for the single. So the first hit of the day for Milwaukee comes from Aramis Ramirez, the former Cub.
Get that skunk out of the box. The first hit in the 4th inning. Sweeney doing a pretty good job of keeping that ball in front of him. And slide it right down the middle, and Ramirez hits it hard right back into center field. And Sweeney, I think, initially thought he could have got there, but he blocked it to keep Ramirez at first base.
Now Ramirez, who had 2 hits yesterday, including a home run. First hit of the ball game today. Now Juan Francisco. Cubs with 2 in the second. They score 4 unearned runs in the 3rd inning. Added 1 last inning on a sac fly from Schuerholz. Brewers are going to start a series with the Pirates tomorrow. Pittsburgh is off today, coming off a West Coast trip. Pirates have won 6 consecutive games and tied for the best record in baseball today with the St. Louis Cardinals. I'm looking forward to that matchup tomorrow. I've heard a lot about Garrett Cole, seen highlights. Former first rounder who has burst onto the scene with the Pirates. He's 3-0. think he threw in his last start. He had 8 pitches over 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, unusual for a starter.
Pop up into foul territory, and that's in the camera well. Might have hit off the camera, actually.
Got the table anyway.
Yep. There's a laptop, that little hood for the laptop, so you can see in the bright sun as they look at their photographs.
It used to be a functioning laptop.
Time for a new one anyway. 2-2 to Francisco, and down he goes. So Garza with another strikeout. It's his 8th. 2 outs in the inning. Our Miller Lite What's on Tap starting that series tomorrow. It'll be Hellwig against Cole. Hellwig's major league debut. We're going to see some radar gun activity tomorrow with those two. Johnny Hellwig has hit 100 miles an hour in his career as well. Donovan Hand and Francisco Liriano, who's having a great year with the Pirates, and then Charlie Morton and Kyle Loesch.
Pirates was one of the best pitching staffs in all of baseball this year.
Well, Johnny Hellwig's been able to settle in the routine a little bit. I'm sure the nerves are starting to build as he prepares for his first major league start. Been taking batting practice the last couple of days, and part of the club. Schaefer breaks his bat. Fly ball into center field, caught by Sweeney, and the inning is over. Brewers finally get a hit. Their first of the day by Ramirez.
At Miller Park, weather coming in unimagined. Hey, today's time of the game winner, Lakeside Pub and Grill in Cudahy. If they call the Brewers in the next 24 hours, they get 40 Miller Lite beer pen tickets to a Brewers home game this year. It's offered courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite.
Been a rough start for the Brew Crew today. Down 7-0. A couple of errors for Milwaukee today. Peralta back out for his 5th inning of work. And he'll face Anthony Rizzo to start it. First pitch in there for a strike. Cubs have 7 runs on 8 hits. Of the 7 runs Peralta has allowed, only 3 of them are earned today. Has a walk and 2 strikeouts. Rizzo pops it up. Segura makes a play for out number 1. Interesting to look up for a pop up as the roof is closing. Doesn't close, I guess, fast enough to throw you off as a defender.
You concentrate on that baseball. There's not much that's going to really mess you up.
Just the contrast of the bright sky with the roof starting to close and darkening things up here at Miller Park before the lights are able to take full effect. Storms a brewing. Brian Bogusevic with 1 away. And he lines one to Segura for the out. 2 up and 2 down for Peralta. Well, the big hit in this game was the home run by Navarro. Brewers playing poor defense, but the game was still certainly manageable at 3-0 until Navarro, after the error by Francisco, hit a 3-run home run to right. And that changes things a little bit from 3-0 to 6-0. Cubs added 1 last inning. And that's where we are, 7-zip. One other game, actually 2 other games matinees today. One of them has gone final. The Rangers beat the Yankees 2-0. Texas won the final 2 games of that series. Derek Holland went the distance today for Texas. A shutout, 7 strikeouts for Derek Holland. He beat Phil Hughes, who went 8 innings. Nice win for Texas. Yankees continue to have injury troubles. Mark Teixeira is going to be out the rest of the year. He's going to require wrist surgery. And of course, all the news with Alex Rodriguez as well off the field and Twittergate. By the way, that surgery for Teixeira means that Lyle Overbay is the everyday guy at first for the rest of the year. So the former Brewer secured a spot on a big league roster for the rest of the season. Navarro on the ground to Weeks, and Peralta with a 1-2-3 inning. He needed that one. Bottom of the 5th coming up. Brewers down 7-0. through the first 4 innings. And the Cubs lead 7-0. Garza and the Cubs. The Brewers have committed 2 errors, and it has been a day of miscues. The drop ball by Segura, that changed the inning in the 2nd inning. That one is a stolen base. And then Gendel looked like he was right there to make the play in left field. That was in the 3rd, and a drop ball by Francisco at first base, and that opened up the inning. Navarro hit a 3-run home run, capped off a 4-run inning where all 4 runs were unearned. And that put the Cubs in the driver's seat today. Meanwhile, Garza has been tough to deal with.
Yes, and he's been throwing a lot of strikes. He's walked 1 batter. He's hit a batter. Allowed only the 1 hit, and the punch outs continue to climb for Garza, 8 of them. Then you get a big 7-0 lead. The one thing your manager wants you to do, get strike 1, don't walk batters, make them hit their way on. Garza's done that.
Maldonado will lead off. Bottom 3 of the order. Now Maldonado has seen the best of Willie Peralta. He has seen the worst of Willie Peralta. These two go way back, and Roenicke likes the combination of Maldonado and Peralta as a battery. And you figure those two are going to be together for a long time. Certainly hope that is the case. I was talking to Rod Roenicke today about Maldonado, and he was just raving about the young catcher, and told me an interesting story that when Maldonado is not catching, he is constantly coming up to Jerry Narron and Ron Roenicke and talking strategy, wants to, think about the game from a managerial perspective. He's a very young player, Maldonado. He's just 25 years old, but it's interesting that he's thinking that way. He's asking a lot of questions, and why are you doing this? And
he takes game calling very seriously. He wants strategy and wants to understand what goes into the decision-making process, and bringing the infield in, bringing the those types of things, and a student of the game. A lot of catchers are like that, especially backup catchers, guys that don't play every day. Not just catchers, but position players as well. Craig Counsell is a lot like that, or was a lot like that as a player. Learn the trade while you're still active. Understand why managers make the decisions that they do, and when and why.
Maldonado able to check his swing. And look, you have to have a passion for it. First of all, to be a catcher, you really have to want to do it. If you're going to be a good catcher, you have to want to be a good catcher. Maldonado asking for his own appeal. That's great. And I think that's part of it. There's so much that goes through the catching position. As Martin lines one, and that's going to be caught by Sweeney. That had a funny spin on it. Maybe lack of spin, a better way to put it. Looked like a knuckler out there by Maldonado.
Centered on that one nicely, but as we talked about, Ryan Sweeney has done a very good job taking control of center field. All the injuries, he's been called upon to make some plays in the outfield and made a nice catch there.
One gone for Gendel. In basketball terms, you'd call a guy like Maldonado a gym rat. And he's not doing all of that because he's trying to get an in with the manager. I mean, he's really curious to find out how the game's being operated. He wants to think along with the manager. Lucroy's the same way. Brewers fortunate to have a couple of good young catchers. The premier position in the game. Brandon Kensler preparing for the 6th inning. Looks like Peralta's day is done. Sean Halton about ready to make his major league debut. Halton rejoining a number of his Nashville teammates here in Milwaukee. Caleb Gendel, one of those.
Ron Renneke allowing him to get that first major league at bat out of the way and try and do that with the least amount of pressure that you can put on a guy. It's be a good time for it.
Gendel strikes out. Number 9 for Garza. And here comes Sean Halton. And his first trip to the batter's box in the big leagues, as Garza ties his season high for strikeouts.
Another fastball, looked like a very hittable pitch as well, right down the middle, and Gendel right through it.
Well, you wait your whole life to hear your name announced like that in a big league stadium, and the time has come for Sean Halton. 9 homers, 35 driven in down in AAA. He's been a power hitter through his career in the minor leagues.
He looks calm and collected, but I will guarantee you he is not.
The 7th Brewer to make his major league debut this year. He was drafted in 09. Brewers drafted him in the 13th round. He played his college ball at Lewis Clark in Lewiston, Idaho, NAIA program. From Fresno, California.
Showed some pretty good pop down in the minor leagues. Played some outfield, played some first base. You'll probably see him platoon with Francisco over at first while he's here.
Well, it's fitting that he is facing Matt Garza, his first big league pitcher faced from the same hometown, Fresno, California. Matter of fact, Garza went to high school in Fresno, and then he played college ball in Fresno. Bouncing ball in the hole. That's going to sneak through, and a base hit. His first at-bat in the big leagues, and it results in a base hit. Congratulations to Sean Halton.
Yeah, good for him. They got a fastball, able to hook it in the hole in the left field, and there's a souvenir.
And I wonder if Kyle Loesch is waiting. Oh, Gomez this time. So Gomez getting into the act. First major league hit. Obviously Gomez throwing a decoy into the stands if he didn't catch all that. That's normally Kyle Loesch's gig. Now they'll save that ball, put it on the mantle for all time.
Been a few of those this year for the Brewers, huh?
Weeks fouls one off of Navarro.
Sometimes you go through an entire season without having a first major league hit, but Brewers have had their share this year. Halton able to hook it. A fastball away from, got on top of it and sneaks it into left field. And he's in the books.
Navarro shaken up a little bit on that foul ball from Weeks. Direct hit.
Yeah, direct hit. You see where that ball ends up. It didn't carom or glance off of that face mask. That was a direct shot. That's like getting punched in the mouth, and that's gonna hurt. That'll be sore tomorrow. It hits him and bounced straight back to the pitcher.
Wow.
Hits you square.
Stumbling a little bit. He's going to stay in the game. We'll see if the Brewers can get a quick strike on Garza. He's only given up 2 hits. You can close the book on Willie Peralta, by the way. Halton pinch hitting for Peralta. Willie goes 5 innings, 8 hits, 7 runs, 3 earned. Had a walk and 2 strikeouts. A day that could have gone a lot better for him.
Yeah.
Little cue shot off the end of the bat, hits the bag. And Halton on his way to third base. So Ricky Weeks, a bit of good fortune. And now 2 on. Runners at the corners with 2 outs. That ball had some interesting spin on it as well. That's an 11-game hitting streak for Ricky Weeks. That is a new career high.
His second time on base. Got hit by a pitch his last time up. Little squiver off the end of the bat. Hit second base and into left field. So a base hit for Ricky. And Halton gets into third base.
And Halton almost wiping out Darwin Barney. That's got to be a scary figure to see coming around second at 6'4", 250.
That's a mismatch.
So here is Aoki. Brewers trying to break the shutout.
Gives you a sense how difficult it is to throw a no-hitter in this game.
Yeah.
You know, that base hit by Halton, a little tweener, and ball hits the bag, and you got to be very good, but you also have to have some luck.
Aoki into left, playable for Bogusevic, and that will retire the side. The Brewers get 2 hits. Sean Halton with his first major league hit. They come up empty in the 5th, however.
And who's the most important Packers series continue as we also check in with our Brewers minor league report. It focuses in on Huntsville Stars Taylor Youngman last night at Birmingham. He went 6 innings, gave up 5 hits, only 1 earned run, and 4 walks on 4 strikeouts as the Stars beat the Barons 8-2. Also, a side note on Youngman, he is 7-2 with a 2.13 ERA in his last 10 starts. So he's really turning it on for the Stars down there in Huntsville, BA.
Yes, he is, and former first-round draft pick who is starting to make a name for himself, and a guy we might see in the big leagues at some point this year. Brandon Kinsler is on to pitch. Has not been used all that much in the month of June. His 31st appearance overall. He'll have a chance maybe go a couple of innings here today, get some work. Brewers trail 7-0. as we go to the 6th inning.
Yeah, last pitched on Sunday against the Braves, tossed a scoreless inning.
Darwin Barney leading off, Matt Garza to follow, and then back to the top of the order. Well, this is when the ballpark can play extremely small. Everything is closed up. It is hot and humid with the rains in the area. It really cooks it up inside Miller Park. Obviously, they've got some big storms brewing outside. Normally in the summer they'll leave the panels open just to cover Miller Park with the roof.
Yeah, but when you get the wind and the rain, that's when they close everything up, zip it up tight.
Bouncing ball to third base. Ramirez makes a play for the out. One away. We always get asked which conditions do the ball travel the best? Does home run balls travel the best? Basically have 3 conditions. You have the roof wide open, roof closed, panels open, and then roof closed, panels closed, which is what we have right here. I always say when the roof is closed and the panels are closed, and that most of the time that is occurring when there's poor weather outside, and usually in the early months, April and May, when it's colder. So statistically it's hard to gauge, because I think statistically the ball travels much better when everything's wide open.
Yeah, I agree. I think in my experience here, and I've seen a lot of games in this ballpark, and when everything's opened up, that's when it goes the best. I think you're right about the conditions. I mean, when it is opened up, it's hot, there's no rain. And that's ordinarily the conditions that tend to make the ball fly pretty good.
It's a hitter's ballpark either way you cut it. Brewers try to build their roster around that fact. Not hitting the home runs this year like they have in the past, but without some big home run hitters. Right off the plate, Garza is out number 2 after 2 hits today.
Hey, Sunday, July 7th, the Brewers take on the Mets at 1:10 p.m. and all fans in attendance get a Hank Aaron bobblehead. Compliments of U.S. Cellular. Visit Brewers.com for tickets. Hammer and Hank. Pretty good likeness. I think Hank's going to show up. Be nice to see him. Haven't seen him in a while. And what a presence he has when he walks into a room.
I think the last time we saw Hank Aaron here was during the Bob Uecker statue ceremony last season.
His wife Billy.
Billy sang that day. She sang at the podium. She was great.
Very nice.
She was the star of the show, I thought. Bob Uecker made her sing. She didn't want to, but once she got going, brought the house down. That was quite a who's who gathering.
It was.
For the Bob Uecker statue ceremony last year. Bob Costas was the MC. Doc Severinsen brought his band. The musical entertainment. Valbuena lines one to center, and Schaefer makes the play in a 1-2-3 inning for Kinsler. sausages. 1993 they debuted. They race yet again. Oh, Italian took an unfortunate spill. And those are the original three in the back. Hot dog and chorizo at the front. Yeah, it started with just three. Hot dog was the fourth to be added, and then chorizo. Off they go. And everything's cooler with the Exmo camera. Even the Italian taking a spill. Tough break for the Italian today.
Sausage is having a nice homestand. The hot dog, I should say.
Yes.
I'm sorry. That's 3 wins for the hot dog.
Italian got left behind. Excuse me. Hey, somebody open the door. He's okay. He just knocked on the door. That was great. Oh, boy. So Matt Garza working on a 3-hit shutout through the first 5 innings. He'll face Gene Segura to lead off. Garza takes quite a bit between innings. He has a ritual that he goes through and will not make a pitch until he's ready. And Segura on the first pitch slaps one to right for a base hit. His first hit of the day. 10-game hitting streak for Gene Segura. He and Weeks extending their long hitting streak today. Powerball home run leaderboard. Gomez with 12 leads the club. He is probably ready to come back tomorrow. Might have been able to play today, but they want to give that shoulder one more day. Gene Segura with 11. Braun still on the disabled list, sitting on 9.
And get him back in the lineup when the Brewers take on the Pirates tomorrow in Pittsburgh. Well, the Brewers are in a stretch right now. They don't have an off day until the All-Star break. So give him an extra day today and then get it going. No real word on Ryan Braun yet, on his condition and how he's coming along. It's been over 2 weeks since he's played.
Now Braun, that nerve damage on his right thumb, his top hand. A lot of things you can play through as a baseball player, but as a hitter, that's not one of them.
Not hand injuries, hands and wrists, no chance.
Ramirez trying to fight through a left knee injury. Aramis got the first Brewers hit today. Came in the 4th inning. He's been on twice, actually. A single and a walk. And a bouncing ball through for a base hit. Castro a little shaken up after that dive. Something grabbed him on his way to make that play. So Ramirez with 2 hits.
And it doesn't look like he has the range that we've seen from Castro in the past. I mean, that base hit for Halton, wasn't able to get there, and that's normally a play that he's going to be able to make. At least get to the baseball. He dives and really actually dives beyond the baseball, went right underneath of him. Hobbling around out there at short.
He is not right. Well, that right knee's giving him a lot of trouble. I'm surprised the Cubs aren't sending an athletic trainer out there. Well, 2 on for Francisco. No, it's 7-0, but there's still some time in this game. The Cubs bullpen has had their struggles. You could get to Garza, force Dale Swaim's hand to get to the bullpen. You never know. One swing of the bat here could make it interesting. Slow stuff from Garza to get ahead of Francisco 0-2. And that skips away from Navarro. Both runners trying to advance, and out at second is Ramirez. And you're down 7 runs, and that's going to bring Ron Renicky out. It looked like Ramirez had a hand in there, but the crew chief, Jeff Kellogg, calls him out.
Well, down 7-0. You had better make sure you're going to be able to make it and make it easily. Yeah, pretty close. I mean, it wasn't a sure thing that he was safe or out. Let's see it. I'll tell you, I mean, you can't really argue too much about that call. I mean, that was bang bang. Could have gone either way, but then when you're down by 7 runs in the 6th inning, you got to make it. The only way you go is if you stand up.
Been that kind of day for the Brewers. So a runner at third with 1 out for Francisco. Francisco has struck out twice against Garza, who's sitting on 9 Ks, which is a season high for him. And he can add 1 to it. 10 strikeouts for Matt Garza.
And Francisco has had a difficult time with that breaking pitch. All 3 strikeouts have come on the slider. Actually, that was a curveball that time.
Two outs, and Logan Schaefer now, who is 0 for 2. Well, Brewers started this homestand with back-to-back 2-0 wins against the Atlanta Braves, division leaders in the National League East. Feeling like things were going to get going. Then they played a very poor game in the finale as Schaefer sends that one down the right field line. That's going to bring in Segura. Schaefer on his way to second, and he'll stop there with an RBI double. Now the Brewers would love to see that bat get hot. Logan Schaefer breaks the shutout. 7-1 Cubs.
He got a pitch in on him and able to drop the hands on it and hit it down the right field line. There it is. It was in on him and doing a nice job to get the barrel of the bat on it. And the Brewers on the board. A breaking pitch from Garza. And the Brewers finally able to get something going on that Garza breaking ball. It was a curveball that he hit.
Here's Maldonado. Gave one a ride back in the 5th. He lined out to center. Chip away when you can in a game like this. Maldonado looking for a 2-out run producing hit. Well, it is really coming down outside Miller Park. Good thing they closed it up. Some hail is expected as well. That ball is hit in the air to center. Back is Sweeney with room to end the inning. Brewers get a run, break the shutout on 3 hits. 7-1 Cubs. 20th anniversary of the famous racing sausages today. Was on this date, 1993. Some of the escapades of the racing sausages. Very top heavy at school appearances, trying to slide down slide. That was a bad idea by the chorizo, by the way. I remember that. That took a while to dislodge. One of my favorite visuals of the racing sausages. This is pre-chorizo day of the Milwaukee Mile. Great comeback by the Brat. Really found a new gear. His car was later tested and he was disqualified. Illegal fuel for the Brat on that particular finish. 7-1, Cubs lead the Brewers. 7th inning. Starlin Castro leading off here in the 7th inning. Kinsler back on the mound. Little flare to right field, will fall and bounce into the seats for a ground rule double. First hit in a while for the Cubs. First hit since the 4th inning, as a matter of fact. Second hit of the day for Starlin Castro.
Yeah, a little slice job down the line, a pitch in on him, and just inside that right field line. Castro seemed to be running pretty well on that double.
We saw Castro dive at a ball last inning. It looked like the right knee was bothering him. Looks like he's all right around the bases.
It didn't seem like there was any problem there.
Nate Scherholtz, a swing and a miss.
Maybe that's why none of the Cubs went out to check him. They knew he was all right.
Kinsler trying to give the Brewers a couple of innings here. All about eating up innings at this point for Milwaukee. Down 7-1. Peralta went 5. Kinsler worked a scoreless 6th inning and now pitching here in the 7th. Last day of this homestand for the Brewers. Don't have a day off for a while. Milwaukee's going to be through a pretty tough run, going to Pittsburgh for 3, Washington for 4.
And then a homestand, and then go to Arizona for 4 games, and then the All-Star break. That's the next off day for Milwaukee.
Brewers go 20 days between off days. After the off day they enjoyed on Monday. Then you get 4 off for the All-Star break. I always start looking at off days when you're talking about pitching, starting pitching especially. The Brewers with open auditions in their rotation right now. Donovan Hand has earned a 2nd start. That'll be Saturday against the Pirates, the 29th. Johnny Helwig makes his major league debut tomorrow.
And what you worry about with a stretch like that is your bullpen. Emphasis is on the starting rotation to get deep into games, and if you don't, then your bullpen gets burned out pretty quickly. And the animals are pairing up out there.
That's a storm. Wow. But we play on inside Miller Park. Thunder, lightning, and hail. Best place to be right here. Two and two on Scherholtz. Count goes full. Sherholtz drove in a run with a sac fly in the fourth. He is 0 for 2 today. After this series with the Brewers, the Cubs are headed to Seattle. They've got a West Coast trip coming up. Seattle and Oakland. In all, it's a 9-game road trip over 10 days. Start their series with the Mariners tomorrow night. And Sherholtz draws the walk. 2 on.
And Brewers head west a couple of times. Go to Arizona right before the All-Star break. That's considered to be west. And then they have a road trip in August that takes them to San Francisco, Seattle, and then Texas.
Well, the National League Central pairing up for the most part with the American League West this year in interleague play. Sweeney sending Gendel toward the line. He's got it for the out in foul territory. First out of the inning. The runners have to stay put.
Man, getting to watch him. He's going to get to it quickly and then two-hand it. That's what happens when you drop a couple of them. You want to make sure.
Yeah, he's had a rough series defensively, but as you said earlier, we've seen a lot of him the last couple of years in spring training, and he is a good defender.
Yes, he is.
Just having a tough start to his big league career. Rizzo sends one that way. 2 outs.
Able to angle back and a little bit more comfortable after grabbing that last one. One hands it to get himself in position to throw.
Well, I thought you made a good point the other day, though. It does bring to light how good Ryan Braun is in left field. A lot of talk about his offense, rightly so. He's an MVP. Typically an MVP candidate every year because of what he does offensively. But Braun is an excellent defender and knows that territory in left very well.
Yeah, you take him for granted out there. All the plays that he makes him look easy, routine, and they're anything but a lot of times.
And it's really been from day one. You know, Braun came up to the big leagues as a third baseman, and he had his troubles at third base. They moved him to left field after his Rookie of the Year season in 2007. Moved him in 2008. And I remember Ed Cedar, who was in charge of acquainting Braun with the outfield, saying this guy's going to be a terrific outfielder, not just an average outfielder. He's got great speed, great throwing arm. He's smart. He's an underrated part of his game. As Kinsler strikes out Bogusevic to end the inning. He works himself out of a jam. Had 2 on with nobody out, and Kinsler 2 scoreless thus far. back on the mound. Brewers finally broke the shutout that Garza had going with a run in the 6th. That was an RBI double by Logan Schaefer. Garza is rolling along today. He has a season high 10 strikeouts. And the Cubs leading 7-1. The Brewers allowing 4 unearned runs, 2 errors today, another misplay on a stolen base attempt. Has not been a pretty picture defensively for Milwaukee today. And barring a comeback, it'll be a 3-3 road trip, or homestand I should say, for Milwaukee. Still got some time though. We'll see. You never know. Caleb Gendel will lead off for the Brew Crew. He'll be followed by Jeff Bianchi, who will pinch hit, and then back to the top of the order.
Yeah, the idea normally is when you play the Cubs is get into that bullpen because their starting pitching's been pretty good, but you know, the Cubs pen's been pretty good so far in this series. Giving a 1 run, 2 games.
Gendel is 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts. Has one of the 2 errors today as well. Had a chance to visit with Roger and Carla Clements in the booth between innings.
Yep,
big day for the Clements family.
Yeah, the whole family in. Becca Quella, they're part of the Clements sausage family. They brought in some beef sticks for us for the flight.
That's nice. Gonna need those.
Have you ever put those on the grill?
No, but I've had the ones that you put on the grill for us.
They're the best.
I like those.
You heat those beef sticks up and amazing. Completely different flavor.
We were talking to Roger about the beginning of the sausage race. Never imagined that it would take off like it has as we celebrate the 20th anniversary of that event. And it started as a scoreboard, a digital scoreboard race, Clements being the sponsor, and then they decided to make a live racers, purchase the outfits, and they look a little different these days, but are basically in the same kind of form. They're much more tapered for speed nowadays.
Streamlined, huh?
Yes. But it's been a very interesting, truly Milwaukee experience as Gendel lashes one back up the middle for a base hit. Milwaukee Brewers baseball today on Fox Sports Wisconsin, brought to you by the Wisconsin Lottery, reminding you to please play responsibly. And by Miller Lite, it's not just a good time, it's Miller time. Jeff Bianchi will pinch hit for Milwaukee, ending the night of Brandon Kintzler, the day of Brandon Kintzler. You see Jim Henderson getting loose, and Chris Bosio is on his way out. The Cubs pitching coach.
And 94 pitches for Matt Garza, 60 of them strikes. Actually, the scoreboard has 94 pitches. Yeah, that's what I said. Sorry. Get ahead of myself. I'm just watching Boz walk out to the mound. Kind of makes my knees hurt when I watch Boz walk.
Little WD-40 might come in handy.
That's full speed.
That is top. That's as fast as he can go.
What a great guy. Had a nice chat with him today and before the game.
Lives in Wisconsin in the offseason, Appleton area. So Bianchi getting a pinch hit appearance, and he lines one back up the middle, base hit. Back-to-back singles for the Brewers at the bottom of their order.
Get Ricky to get a hold of one and see what happens. A couple of men on, the Brewers down by 6. Got a fastball off the end, and Bianchi with a base hit. You never know in this game. You never know in this ballpark. We've seen it before in these series against the Cubs.
Yep. And when the Roof is all closed up on a hot day like today. The ball really jumps. So you just keep plugging away at the plate presented by Wendy's. Ricky Weeks extended his hitting streak with a base hit back in the 5th inning. Single that hit the bag. He's hit in 11 consecutive games, and he has hits in his last 20 starts for the Brewers. Brewers sending Scooter Gennett back to AAA last night, meaning Ricky Weeks will continue as the everyday second baseman, and got him out of a slump. I think the matchups and the days off did as much for Ricky Weeks than the emergence of Gennett. I don't think Ricky Weeks at this point of his career is necessarily looking over his shoulder.
Yeah. I think more than anything, they gave him some time off to work on his mechanics, and Scooter played pretty well. You expect to see him back at some point.
That won't be the last we've heard of Scooter Gennett. He'll find his way back. He's got a terrific future ahead of him, Scooter Gennett. Good to get his first taste of the big leagues, and now he'll go back and play every day, and hopefully he'll continue to hit. Well, Gennett almost hit one out last night for a walk-off home run. He sent Sherholtz to the wall in right field. It was close. Little flare right field, long run for Sherholtz. He's there. And that is the first out of the inning. A couple other games going final day games today in the big leagues. Rangers beat the Yankees 2-0. Holland went the distance. Angels upended the Tigers today. Angels won 3-1. Tigers still having their troubles with late inning relief. It was Phil Koch who gave up 2 runs late. Aoki sends Allen to left. Bogusevic for out number 2. And the Angels winning in 10 innings over the Tigers today. Here at Miller Park, it's the Cubs and the Brewers, and our game summary brought to you by Toyota. Brewers have not played well today. Poor defense, giving up 4 unearned runs. Cubs scoring all 4 runs in the 3rd inning that were unearned. Gianna Navarro hit a key 3-run home run after a couple of errors. Garza, season best 10 strikeouts today. He's been rolling along. Didn't give up a hit until the 4th inning. Ricky Weeks and Gene Segura both extending their current hitting streaks.
Yeah, that 3-run home run never should have been. Never should have had an at bat. The inning should have been over.
Segura muscles one to Barney, the Gold Glover, for the final out. 2 on, nobody out. Brewers come up empty. Been that kind of day.
The famous racing sausages, it's a tradition unlike any other. It's synonymous with Brewers baseballs, maybe even Bob Uecker. So today we were asking fans which is your favorite famous racing sausage, and it was pretty even. 25% said Polish, 23% the brat, 21% the chorizo. We've been taking a look back at what the racing sausages have contributed in terms of memories for Brewers fans, and this, I mean, they just never fail to entertain. There's the famous Randall Simon incident. Who could ever forget that? Poor sausages. And the relays with the little weenies, always fun on Sundays during the day games. More collisions. Who doesn't love the racing sausages? So BA and Rock, we've had a good time taking a look back at the history of the racing sausages, and appreciate fans weighing in with who their favorites are.
Yeah, and a good day for it, on a day when Brewers fans could use something to smile about. Not much going on the field in that regard as Jim Henderson takes over. He'll work the 8th here. 7-1 Cubs. Now that Randall Simon moment, that's the moment that, the infamous moment that put the sausages on the map on a national scale.
And Jim Henderson on for the 28th time this year. 10 for 12 in save opportunities. Both of those lone saves came in the 8th inning. And getting some work here this afternoon. It's been a while for Henderson. And last pitched on Sunday against the Braves. Gave up a run in 1 inning of work.
Deanna Navarro leads off. Had the big hit in this one after the error by Francisco in the 3rd that extended the inning. Navarro on the very next pitch in the 3rd inning hit one out. A 3-run home run changed the complexion of this game. Went from 3-0 to 6-0. A slicer, Schaefer closing and makes the play. Logan Schaefer, a nice running catch. Good play by the young center fielder. Ho-Chunk Gaming text question comes from Joel in Oak Creek today. Do the sausages run primarily on the dirt? How would they run on the turf or cement?
Are you asking me?
I think that's you know, kind of the horse racing.
Right. I mean, I know they run the
mindset.
5K, so they can run on asphalt, cement.
It's not that they can't do it, right? They don't really have to do it anywhere
But
else.
they run primarily on the warning track.
I think that's their best track, wouldn't you say? Most experience. And they really don't have to be mudders anymore because of the beautiful roof up above. Fly ball to right, well positioned. Aoki, and Barney is retired. Aoki goes down to the knees. Now, this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Milwaukee Brewers Baseball Club. May not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent of the Brewers. Pedro Borbon, or Julio Borbon, I should say, pinch hitting. And that'll end the day for Matt Garza with 7 innings, 1 run allowed, 10 strikeouts.
And he's pitched well against Milwaukee in his career. Came in at 3-1, looking to go to 4-1 if it stays the same in 7 starts.
And every time Garza pitches like this, like he did today, you start to wonder if he'll make another start for the Cubs as the trade winds begin to blow. Two outs in the 8th. Cubs lead 7-1. Brewers have 8 hits in this game, actually, and just 1 run. That was a 2-out RBI double by Schaefer. Well, Henderson just needing to get some work. You never want your closer, your setup man at this point in a game like this, but important to keep Henderson sharp moving forward. Kinsler did a nice job for 2 scoreless innings. Bullpen continues to put up zeros.
Yep, second best bullpen statistically in the National League, a 294 earned run average for the pen. Only Atlanta Braves are better in the National League.
Down and in, 2-2 on Bourbon. It's hard to believe that the Brewers are sitting at the bottom of their division with a bullpen this good. Normally, teams in last place, usually it's the bullpens that have them in last place.
Well, the starting pitching has been very inconsistent this year. Offense has been up and down.
Now the starting pitching ERA dead last in the National League coming into play today. A 5.00 earned run average, and it'll be going up after this one. But that typically works hand in hand. You have a starting rotation that struggles. That means the bullpen is pitching more than it should. Usually going to go through their tough times. Brewers have an excellent bullpen. And it's too bad because this is the kind of bullpen, if you're contending, that can really be a difference maker at this time of year. Second best bullpen ERA. That was the nemesis of the Brewers last year as Bourbon draws the walk. So a 2-out walk.
Third baseman, Luis Albuena.
Last year the Brewers had the worst bullpen ERA in the big leagues. Doug Melvin made it a point this offseason to correct that, and that's been the part of the club that has been successful this season. Saw where the Nationals and the Diamondbacks are delayed by rain. Haven't started that game yet, but what a pitching matchup today. Steven Strasburg against Patrick Corbin of the Diamondbacks, who is 9-0 with a 2.19 ERA this season. Where would the Diamondbacks be without Corbin?
Right.
Strasburg's record is 4-6, but his ERA is 2.40. He's putting together a pretty good season, Strasburg. After the much publicized shutdown last year.
Now the Nationals next to last in runs scored in the National League. That'll tell you why.
Segura wants this one, makes a catch to end the inning. Henderson puts up yet another 0 for the bullpen.
base hit. One of the few things on the bright side the Brewers have been able to do against Matt Garza today. He had their number from the get-go, didn't he?
Well, Matt Garza was right on today, really hitting his spots. Wasn't really, overpowering, but he just really did a nice job in pitching the contact.
Our Marshfield Clinic shining moment does go to Halton today. First career plate appearance in his first game, and he sneaks one through into left field for a base hit, a solid single. And of course, that souvenir ball, Carlos Gomez, you got it right. Whoops, the old hit ball trick. You got to like that. And Halton has a good laugh. And congratulations. We'll see if he can put together a nice stint up here on the big league level for the first time ever. Brewers post-game is on the way. Brewers Live post-game will have full reaction from the clubhouse as the Cubs lead the Brewers right now as we head to the bottom of the 8th inning. Brian?
All right, Craig and Davey, thank you as we take a look at Blake Parker. And how about these numbers? This guy's just been a different pitcher as of late for the Chicago Cubs.
Yeah, recently has come up with a split-fingered fastball that's pretty much changed his whole approach. He's able to get the strikeouts. He gets ahead in the count, puts you away with that split-fingered fastball. So you figure hitters are going to start attacking early. Doesn't throw hard, but when he gets ahead of you, he can be tough.
We love those stories, guys trying to survive at the big league level, and one pitch can make all the difference in the world. Sometimes it's not even a pitch itself, it's more mechanical. And I remember the great stories about Roy Halladay. Go check out Roy Halladay's first few years in the big leagues. It was a struggle for him. Went down to the minor leagues. He just made one small tweak, bending over a little bit and a little more hidden to the batter, showing his back to the hitter, and that changed everything.
Hiding the baseball, that means that makes a big difference. The same pitches are much tougher to hit when you can't pick up the baseball very early. And that's what hitters try to do. The earlier you see it, the better off you are, and the better chance you are to get a pitch to hit.
You see a guy getting beat up in the big leagues and giving up a lot of runs, especially guys with good stuff, and it's easy to write them off, but you never know when a guy's going to find it. Some never do. Most never do.
And some aren't willing to make the adjustment. That's the thing. I've seen a lot of players in the minor leagues with great talent, a lot of tools, but not willing to make adjustments as they advance through the ranks. And you have to do that because pitching gets better. Everything gets better, and you have to improve. What did Woody Hayes say? If you're not getting better, you're getting worse.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Ramirez. There's that famous story about Willie Mays when he first came up, and his first run in the big leagues didn't go so well. And Willie was going to quit. He didn't think he was good enough to play in the major leagues. Willie Mays felt that way. I think it worked out all right for him.
Yeah.
660 home runs later. Ramirez strikes out. That is a nasty pitch from Parker.
And now 12 strikeouts in 10 innings of work for Parker. There it is, the splitter going straight down. That is well located, actually spinning off a slider.
So 1 away, and here is Juan Francisco. He has had a rough day today. After homering yesterday, Francisco with 3 strikeouts this afternoon. Matt Garza finished with a season high 10 Ks, 7 innings, 1 run allowed. Garza in line for his 3rd win. Spent a little over a month on the disabled list to start the year with a lat injury on his left side. Francisco muscles one foul. Now, Juan Francisco is going to be an interesting study this year for the Brewers. See if they can get him turned around at the plate. But many of hitting coach that felt like he could be the one. Francisco already on his third organization. Got traded from the Reds to the Braves prior to last season. Insurance for Chipper Jones last year. Jones unable to play every day. And then the Braves released him earlier this season. That's got to be a wake-up call for anyone.
Yeah.
Powerball home run count. Francisco certainly a part of it. He has 8 home runs this year. 3 as a Milwaukee Brewer. 2 of them at Miller Park. He hit a rope out of here yesterday off the back wall of the bullpen. And it was out of here in a flash yesterday. 3.2 seconds.
It's all about swinging at strikes for Francisco. He's struck out 3 times, and none of the pitches that he swung out for strike 3 have been in the strike zone. Guys with big power, they like to get that bat started, and because of that, not very disciplined in swinging at strikes.
His last 2 home runs on opposite ends of the spectrum. If you took a bucket of balls and the greatest power hitters in the game said, let them hit the ball as hard as they could, you'd have a hard time hitting one out in less than 3 seconds, as Francisco did. That ball is hit well to left, and that ball is going to be gone. Francisco just flicks one out of here.
That's a perfect example of what we're talking about. This guy doesn't have to swing hard to hit him out. It looked to me like he was out on his front foot a little bit. He's trying to put the ball in play, and well, he drives it out of here. Ball carries well for him, and well, he's so strong. It's amazing the strength and the power that he can generate. There's that splitter. Stays up in the zone, and you can see he's out on his front foot a little bit. That stiff front leg, and able to drive it out of here to the opposite field.
Incredible that he can hit that pitch that far. His 3rd home run in as many days, Juan Francisco. And that is going to mean a pitching change for Dale Swain. Brewers down 7-2. Parker is out. Here comes James Russell.
Pitching change with James Russell coming in for the Cubs at Miller Park. Every Friday is Fair Fridays. It's a $15 Fair Friday. Get 1 Terrace Reserve ticket to any Friday Brewers game and 1 general admission ticket to the Wisconsin State Fair presented by U.S. Cellular for just $15. Visit brewers.com/State Fair for details. Brian.
All right, Telly, thank you. And here's James Russell now. Dale Swain taking no chances with this game. He has seen his bullpen implode before. 7-2 the score. The Brewers down 5. So we play with 1 out in the 8th. And Russell will come on as Swain plays matchup here with Logan Schaefer at the plate.
And the only left-hander down in that Cubs bullpen. You got Schaefer, Maldonado, then Caleb Gindel.
Capturing some memories. That's the beautiful thing about Miller Park. Even when the team's not playing well, there's always fun times had here. Great ballpark. Big concourses. Can walk all the way around the stadium and still keep an eye on the game. That's what I love about this place.
Yeah, something for everybody. Got the kids zone upstairs and good food.
Great food. Good photo ops as well. Just waiting for the perfect image. This ballpark opened in 2001. That's hard to believe. It's going to be a day, I would imagine, when most of the stadiums around professional sports would be retractable roofs. A few decades from now, you think, as they continue to build stadiums. I was surprised they didn't put a roof on the ballpark in Minneapolis, the last new ballpark that opened up. You know, the retractable roof in Miami makes that a great setting now. Don't have to deal with the elements.
Folks in Minnesota said they didn't need a roof.
I don't think they really said that. I think the PR people in Minnesota said they didn't need a roof. Schaefer takes a called strike 3. Down he goes.
No, they actually said they didn't need a roof. They did a survey. They did a study. And they said it doesn't very rarely, if ever.
Not buying it. I don't know if that's a strike right there. But Adam Hamari decided it was. And Schaefer has to do an about face.
Wow, pretty close. No love lost, you know, for guys taking third strikes, I think, in this day and age, especially after yesterday's game.
Maldonado sends one to left center field. That'll stay up for Sweeney, and the inning is over. Brewers get a run on a Francisco home run. 7-2 Cubs. Games, and the Brewers down 7-2 as we go to the 9th inning. Been an ugly one today for Milwaukee. A few bright spots. Logan Schaefer has an RBI double. Francisco with that home run. Speaking of Francisco's, Francisco Rodriguez on the mound. 6 for 6 in save opportunities, and number 300 coming in classic K-Rod style on Saturday. It was on a strikeout and on his signature pitch, the changeup. Francisco Rodriguez, one of 25 players to have 300 career saves in the major leagues. That was the last out to Freddie Freeman.
On the changeup that Rodriguez has really made a career with, and just getting some work here in a 7-2 game.
Starlin Castro will lead off for the Cubs. Started the day under beautiful blue skies, plenty of sunshine, great weather when we started. Storm started to roll in Milwaukee. They closed the roof and the panels, and a big rainstorm came through. And now the panels are on their way open, creating a little circulation inside this sauna.
I think it's hot when they close her up, and the humidity.
Cubs are headed to another retractable roof stadium, Seattle, home of the Mariners. Their roof is more like a cover, though. Doesn't actually seal up. So when it's cold there, it's cold inside the ballpark. You feel the wind,
and it rains a lot in Seattle.
Almost as much in Seattle as Pittsburgh.
Of course, we have no room to talk here in Milwaukee. Boy, it's raining a lot, isn't it?
But you don't have to think about it if you're a baseball fan.
You do if you have a basement.
That's true.
It is about as wet as it's ever been since I've been here. A drought last year. Everybody's lawn was brown last year this time, but
now you can't get a lawnmower through it.
Now you got to cut it every other day if it dries out.
1-2 on Starlin Castro. He has 2 hits today. He's 2 for 4. Into right field, and Aoki makes the catch for out number 1. Brewers will be on national television Saturday. Fox will have the game, Fox National, in Pittsburgh. Pirates starting to play their way into some national exposure these days. That means Donovan Hand will be pitching on national TV on Saturday. Johnny Helwig ready to make his major league debut tomorrow. He'll become the 8th Brewer to make his big league debut this year. Sean Halton was number 7 today, got a base hit in his first major league at bat. Quickly 0-2 on Scherholtz. Frankie Rodriguez, certainly a guy that a lot of scouts are interested in. There are a ton of contending teams with closer issues. And K-Rod is pitching very well this year. Had a rough year last year, but Frankie Rodriguez looks like a different guy this season. Attacking the strike zone.
Man, that's really the difference. I mean, his velocity is no different. Still throwing a breaking pitch and a changeup, but he's been able to get ahead in the count. Strike 1, strike 2, and then he's been able to get hitters to chase. Wasn't able to do that last year. Behind in the count consistently.
And a strikeout. Sherholt swings and misses. First strikeout for K-Rod. 2 outs here in the ninth. The changeup, the signature changeup from Rodriguez.
And it goes down and away from a left-handed batter and really takes a lot off the speed.
A lot of moving parts with Francisco Rodriguez. And then out comes the flutter ball, the changeup. He also has that good curveball. Big part of what the Brewers were able to do in 2011, setting up for John Axford, the division championship season. Had a bad year last year. Well, he's back at it this season. Schaefer coming in. He's got it. And a nice inning for Frankie Rodriguez. 1, 2, 3. Cubs go in order. We head to the bottom of the ninth. Brewers down 5. Cubs, 4 of those runs unearned today for the Brewers. Don't forget our instructionals coming up. Brewers Live post game. It'll be Davey Nelson and Bill Schroeder today. What do you have in mind today, Rock, for your post game instruction?
Well, I just came up with this last inning. I think we're going to talk about, how Gene Segura caught the ball in his glove in that double play in the first inning. The difference between catching it in the webbing and having to find it as opposed to in the heel of the glove when you can find it right away. And that takes a lot of practice. A lot of times if you don't know what you're doing there, you're going to have that ball roll right up your arm and you don't get anybody. A lot of ground balls it takes to be able to master that.
Almost using the glove like a paddle. In and out of there quickly.
And I hope Davey Nelson's able to do it because I couldn't.
He's got that skill. Well, that'll be coming up on the post-game instructional today. You ever play catch with the back of your glove?
Oh yeah.
Where you don't even use the webbing, you just turn the glove, play catch on the fingers of the glove on the back, and see how fast you can exchange it. That was a great game that we used to play, just throwing the ball.
Kind of like rapid fire. You go, play, see how quickly you get rid of the baseball with your buddy. Yep.
All those little games like that. I always felt like, I get a lot of questions about, well, what kind of sports help baseball? And I think if you're a position player and you can play racquetball, if you live in a cold weather environment like we do here, if you can play racquetball in the off season, that will really help your baseball skills. Gendel flies out, and especially if you're an infielder, because you have to make a lot of quick reads when you play racquetball off the walls, the way the ball bounces.
And there's a lot of similar movements in racquetball, and particularly playing the infield, that quick burst to the left and right.
So Dale Swaim managing this one right to the end, making matchup pitching changes here. Russell is coming out, and we'll take a break here in the bottom of the ninth. And a pitching change at Miller Park. Dale Swain playing the matchups here with Betancourt scheduled to hit for Milwaukee in a pinch hitting role. The right-hander Sean Camp.
And kind of surprised that James Russell was even in the ball game given the score, but Dale Swain didn't want to extend him too much. Gave him an inning, and Sean Camp on for the 24th time. 1-1 record, a .653 earned run average. And Dale Swain looking to get 2 outs out of his right-hander. Camp having a rough season. He's been a dependable reliever out of the bullpen.
Spent some time in the closer's role until Kevin Gregg solidified that spot for the Cubs. All right, 1 gone here in the 9th, and Betancourt will lead off. Ricky Weeks to follow. I beg your pardon. Betancourt about with 1 out. First batter against Camp. Brewers started this homestand winning the first 2 games in 2-0 shutouts against the Atlanta Braves. Lost the finale on Sunday and then able to come back with a win Tuesday night. Lost yesterday and in danger of dropping back-to-back games and making it a 3-3 homestand. Now Betancourt is a bat that has disappeared for the Brewers. Got off to that great start. Hit 6 home runs in the month of April. His playing time has been cut back significantly.
And one of the many that Ron Redicky tried to, win that first base job. And Betancourt had a good run. And had a good run as a third baseman as well, while Ramirez was on the disabled list.
Three balls and a strike on Betancourt, and that one's inside ball 4. A 1-out walk. How about the 9 spot in the batting order? The 3 pinch hitters today in that 9 spot with 2 hits and a walk. Sean Halton pinch hit in that spot, had his first major league hit. The Yankee had a hit, and now Betancourt with a walk. That won't make the Cubs skipper all that pleased.
And nothing irritates a manager or coaching staff more than a walk with a 5-run lead.
So to the top of the order, and Ricky Weeks. Had 3 day games today. 2 of them are final. Angels beat the Tigers. Rangers beat the Yankees. A hot one to Castro. And this is going to be a double play to end it. The Cubs win the last 2 games of the series to win the series on the road. Chicago a 7-2 victory today. Matt Garza goes to 3-1. Willie Peralta drops to 5-9. 3-3 homestand for the Brewers. And now headed to Pittsburgh to start a 3-game series beginning tomorrow night. We check in with Craig Kashawn. Time for Brewers Live.
Okay, Brian, let's hope that trip out there turns things around for the Brewer crew. Last couple of days, not too good. We'll take a look at it. Plus that road trip ahead for Milwaukee. Get inside the clubhouse. We'll also hear from Ron Renicky, Brewers manager, and our on-field instructional all on the way. Brewers Live is next.